Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Thank you again for clicking on my video. On the menu today, it is pepper steak. You know how it goes. I'll take you through the process of how I do it step by step, and I'll also include the ingredients. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel, guys. Leave a comment down below and we'll jump right into it. All right, guys, so on your screen here is all the ingredients that I have included or I've used in this recipe. I've also included in the description the measurement that I have used, so you can go ahead and check that out. Okay, so let's jump right into it and start prepping. So first I'm going to get all my veggies prepped. I'm using some bell pepper, so I'll be using the red, green, orange and yellow, just to give our steak a nice color, because presentation is everything. So I'll use all that bell pepper or sweet pepper. I've also used a half an onion, and I am cutting these in square shapes. So you see I was cutting the bell peppers in square shapes. These are the shapes that I want. I usually prefer to dice my vegetables. I think they look more presentable when we're cooking. Now we're dicing up some garlic and some ginger in very, very, very fine. If you have a garlic crusher, you can use that too, but we're using our knife. I don't have a garlic crusher. Now onto our beef, and I'm just here washing the beef in some vinegar water, and I'm going to pat dry this with my napkin, or my paper towel rather, just to get that excess moisture off. And I'm going to be cutting my beef in very thin slices, as thin as you can go. Make sure your knife is sharp so it can give that steak a nice and smooth cut, and it will be much easier to cut as well. Okay, so as thin as you can go, that's how you want it. And we just continue to cut the steak in even cuts. I'm going to go ahead and dice the beef because these are way too big, so I'm going to cut these very smaller. And you can actually cut these to the size that you want them. You can have a rectangular shape if you want. You can have, a square shape if you want. It's up to you, and it's up to how you want your steak size to be. But just make sure they're cut very thin. Now it's time to season the beef, and I'm starting with the garlic. So I'm gonna grate, I think this was 2 pegs of garlic. I went ahead with a piece of ginger. I am adding soy sauce, and I added sugar to the soy sauce because I don't have any oyster sauce. Now I'm adding some black pepper, some flour, and for the flour, guys, you can use starch if you have the starch. I don't have that, so I'm using flour. It works just the same. And lastly, I'm using all-purpose seasoning. Not a lot because we have the soy sauce that is salty already. And then I'm going in with the oil. Now we're going to combine our meat and marinate all that seasoning together. And our meat is ready for the pot. So I'm gonna work on my sauce right now. This is my gravy for my beef, and I'm using some beef broth with water. I'm adding flour, and you can also use the starch there. I'm adding black pepper, some soy sauce with my sugar combined, and some all-purpose seasoning. I'll combine that together, and that will be my sauce. All right, now it's time to get our beef in the pot, and I'm preheating the pot. And now I'm going in with my beef. So I'll just get that nice and spread. And what you'll see, you'll notice that the beef starts to produce a lot of water. Don't worry about that. Just make sure your heat is on high, and you actually want that moisture in the pot to help to cook the beef. So don't worry about that excess moisture. It's going to go away. Once your fire is on high, it will eventually evaporate and you'll get the texture that you want. Okay? So I'm just turning some of the ones that were on top and just making sure everything, is nice and evenly cooked. So we're going to continue to stir that and leave to cook for a few more minutes. So now you can see that most of the moisture is gone and the steak is actually frying now, and I want my steak to to get some color too. So this is what I was waiting on, for most of the moisture to be gone. So this is perfect right here, and this steak has been cooking for about 10 minutes, and remember, they're thinly sliced, so they're going to be cooked quicker. So it's about 20 minutes since the steak has been cooking, and now I'm testing it, and this was the perfect texture that I wanted. So now I'm going to remove the steak from the pot. My battery actually died, and I didn't realize that the battery died, and I thought it was recording. But I went ahead and I removed the steak, and in that same pot I added a little oil and I started to saute some onions and garlic. So the onions were sauteed and I went ahead and add my bell pepper. So this is where we're at right now. We're just combining everything together. And guys, I'm so sorry about the angle and my hands being in the camera. This was when I was editing. I realized that this was a very bad angle for the camera. So just bear with me, guys. So now I'm going to add back my steak and combine that together. And the reason for doing this, I wanted my onions and my peppers to kind of saute first before I added them to the beef. So this was my method. You can just add your veggies to your steak once it's at that step, but I prefer to saute my veggies separately and then re-add them. So we're just combining this together. We're almost there now. We're just making sure that everything is nice and married and every flavor is there. So now I'm going in with my sauce or my gravy, and we're just going to combine that together. So what this does, the flour is going to thicken the gravy, and that's why you can use starch as well, but they work just the same. And we're just going to combine all that together and let that simmer, and in a few minutes your steak will be finished. And this meal was like less than 30 minutes. It's very quick and easy because these are thinly sliced beef. And yes guys, our beef will be ready any minute now. All right, so that's the texture that you want right there, and all those colors, perfect. And this is what we are left with. It is pepper steak served up with some potato mixed with sweet potato. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Go ahead and comment down below. Let me know if you're gonna try this recipe. Also, give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, okay? Help me to share the video so it gets to all platforms. Thank you again for tuning in to Negril Chef, and until next time, peace. Jamaica!